Working on documenting how the Open Seattle organization actually is meant to work. This is the first time that we've had things like policies and guidelines of any kind documented anywhere. And this is done in part because I can't be an organizer forever. At some point, other people will, can't hear me? Thank you. At some point, other people will also need to come on and take this where it's headed next. Some friends of mine will do something they call like aspirational readmes. They will write readmes for code that doesn't exist yet, and they'll write conference applications to like go and to speak at a conference about this technology that doesn't exist yet with the intent of writing it before their talk. This is a little bit similar, except it's called like documentation-driven development, which is a nice idea. This is an example of not documentation-driven development, but documentation-driven organization. This is an ideal of what I think the future of Open Seattle could look like. And my hope for today is just to say, hey, this exists. I'd like you to go look at it and tell me what you might improve. So this is the repo for it. It's at github.com/openseattle/organization. And it's all still pretty early. There's still much to do. You can look at the demo of it. There's a link from it on that repo. And it has a few just really basic things. We have the mission. This is just taken from a thing we did at the beginning of the year, defining sort of the mission and goals. We have the code of conduct, which is based on the contributor covenant, which is a really nice baseline for a code of conduct. The contributing guidelines is another one that's just sort of taken from a template that is a pretty good overview of how one might contribute to a project. This is the first time we've had like a list of all the things that volunteers might need to do to run an event. There's still a lot more to add, but it's a start. Specifically, here's like the outline of how Talks Night works, which is tonight. And then started just a little overview of like, what is an Open Seattle project? How do I start one? How do I join one? Like TLDR on that is Open Seattle doesn't really have projects, you have projects, and we're just hoping to like help you make them happen. The one that's really aspirational is the governance page. We've been doing this for like 3 years maybe. There's no process for like who becomes an organizer. I'm just like some jerk that started it and keeps doing it. Stop me. And so this is a proposal for how we might, transition from person to person. What I've sketched out so far is like, by end of November, we have applications coming in. Over December, we put together just like really small like review committee for those applications and do interviews so that you know and we know that this is serious. So that we find the right people. And then new organizers would start in January. So there's that. This is also just like, this budget, this page is just like, what even is this? Based roughly on our previous years, I took that and times it by 3. And with the idea of like, we can be doing more, let's plan for what resources it would take to do more. Sponsors and partners page, there's not really a lot to that. We can add to that a lot. And then the other thing that's sort of in the works is finding a fiscal sponsor for Open Seattle so that these sort of aspirational goals of bringing in more money and resources, we have a way to legally do that. So we've been working with Shelley, Third Place Technologies, which is a new nonprofit, and hopefully have more news about that soon. That's it. That's what I've got to show you. And my hope is that some of you in this room would be interested in being an organizer, and we'll be sharing out more info about how that will all work later. Or you know people that would be interested, or you would take like 10 minutes to look at this site, that repo, and give some input.